What's up, you guys? Welcome to this week's One Piece chapter review. And in this week's video, we're going to be talking about chapters 882 and 883. Now, in the previous chapter 882, we have Luffy and Dogtooth battling it out in the mirror world. And we also see Dogtooth demonstrating his high level of proficiency with his devil fruit by turning the environment into mochi, which he uses against Luffy, confirming that he has awakened the full potential of his devil fruit, like Doflamingo did in the battle with Gear 4 Luffy. But also, we have Brule hyping Dogtooth up to be this perfect warrior, and he never touches the ground, and the ground is just this foreign concept to him. He's undefeated, and I just hate when characters do that, especially in One Piece, because how many times have we seen Luffy fight somebody, be the underdog, and have another character pretty much hype up the guy that he's fighting or the person that he's fighting as this unbeatable monster, and then Luffy just beats them and just craps all over that. I mean, this is what happened with Doflamingo when he was fighting Law and Luffy. When Law hit him with the Gamma Knife, Treble was saying, "Dofi, don't let your knees touch the ground. The king doesn't let his knees touch the ground." And Treble was just laughing at Luffy and Law, saying, "You guys will never defeat Dofi. He's in a whole different league." But at the end of the fight with Gear 4 Luffy, that was a solid loss. His knees just didn't touch the ground. He collapsed. Doflamingo touched the ground so many times in that fight. It was ridiculous. And, you know, Treble got bodied by Law, so it was just kind of laughable all the way around. But I don't want that to happen with Dogtooth. I don't want Dogtooth to be hyped up as this perfect, undefeatable guy who never lays down on the ground or, you know, never touches the ground or anything like that. That's just preposterous. And, you know, Dogtooth has enough hype as it is. I'm pretty satisfied with Dogtooth's performance against Luffy. I would like to see him go all out a little bit more, but I'm pretty satisfied with how he's doing in the fight. And I feel like by hyping him up more than he needs to be in this fight, you're setting him up for failure against Luffy. Luffy always pretty much comes out on top. If not, it's either a stalemate or somebody's going to intervene on Luffy's behalf and so on. But also in this chapter we have Sparrow and Big Mom still going after the Straw Hat Pirates to Cacao Island for the cake. But Big Mom makes a detour, and like I say in so many of these videos, in this arc with Big Mom and her crew's incompetence, they're their own greatest enemies at this point. All Big Mom has to do is go straight to Cacao Island and just wipe out the Straw Hat crew without Luffy, and that's the easy thing. But instead, she takes the detour. Also, we see Beige Capone on his ship heading towards the island as well. But also, we see that the Vinsmokes are perfectly fine, and they have completely dispatched Big Mom's forces that were sent after them. And they pretty much disguise themselves as Big Mom's forces when talking to Mont Dior. And it's just funny because Mont Dior is just taking this at face value, and he's just so overjoyed that the Vinsmokes and Germa was eliminated, but they still have the technology and everything. And it's just like Baron Tamago was right there. He was right there telling them, we have underestimated the Straw Hats too much. And if you ask me, I think that Big Mom's crew is overrated. They should have known something like this would happen with Beige Capone. You're trying to tell me a crew and a Yonko who have this very elaborate and very intricate information network where they can find people you love, threaten them, and kill them, and mail their body parts to you. You're trying to tell me that these people couldn't do a background check on Beige Capone before he joined the crew? No one bothered to second guess the decision to let Beige Capone, man from the worst generation, who has a history of taking out the heads of powerful organizations and families, killing them and then running. No one questioned this. No one said, this guy might be a problem for us in the future. It's ridiculous. But we're going to see all of this come to a head very soon. We're going to see the Vinsmokes fight back. They're not going to take this lying down. And, you know, with Mont Dior explaining why they betrayed the Vinsmokes for their technology and everything like that, that pretty much gave the Vinsmokes the confirmation that they need now that, okay, we were being used for our technology. And, you know, at the end of chapter 882, we see Luffy going into Gear 4th, or about to enter Gear 4th against Dogtooth. And at the start of chapter 883, Dogtooth just shuts that down immediately. And that's just something I still want to give him applause for, because you have to consider, when Luffy went Gear 4th against Doflamingo, Doflamingo let it happen. Doflamingo stood there and joked about how Luffy looked ridiculous. And Luffy wrecked him, okay? He ended him at that moment. And just pretty much scared the crap out of Doflamingo with the immense power and force of the attack from Gear 4th. Just a basic Gear 4th attack. Now, Dogtooth, he wasn't willing to play any of that. And Dogtooth even stated, he said, I have never underestimated you in this entire fight. And Dogtooth is one of those villains. He's one of those fighters, or one of those antagonists that is just a very competent antagonist. He doesn't underestimate the protagonist in any way. And Luffy, in a lot of his fights, when he goes into these fights, he's the underdog. And the people that he's fighting gets arrogant, they get cocky, they get lazy. And Luffy catches them slipping. Like Crocodile, for example. He's killed Luffy about twice. Now, well, several times. You can argue that if it was any other person, they would have died. Yes, but it's still Crocodile's fault that he didn't make sure Luffy was dead. And Luffy came back and he pretty much messed up Crocodile. And around the middle of this chapter, we see Dogtooth making the same mistake when he drops a whole mound of mochi on Luffy, and he expects it to suffocate Luffy, and thinks there's no way Luffy can get out of that. And then he talks about how he's 40 minutes late for his snack time, and how it's a sacred ritual for him, and how no one is supposed to see him or interact with him. And Luffy not only breaks out of the mound, but he burns off the fat, and then he pretty much destroys the sacred shrine that Dogtooth is enjoying his sacred ceremony in. Now, I wasn't surprised when Luffy ate his way out of that mochi mound, because in one of the One Piece movies where it was Gaspard, I think he was this non-canon Logia user who could turn into syrup. When he was fighting Luffy, Luffy ate right through him. Luffy is willing to eat. Luffy's willing to use his jaws, and he's willing to eat if need be, irregardless of the situation. So it's just not that surprising to me that Luffy would eat straight through that mound of mochi, come out unscathed, and then just come back. Because, I mean, he was willing to eat through Gaspard, although he complained that Gaspard tasted awful, that the syrup just tasted awful. We have to consider that when he was fighting Cracker, he ate all of those biscuit soldiers. He did this throughout the majority of the fight. So it's not a stretch of the imagination to imagine that Luffy's just going to eat straight through the mound. But also, when Luffy destroys the shrine, we see that not only is Dogtooth lounging around, but he's eating donuts. He has this wide freaking mouth and these sharp, sharp teeth. He just looks absolutely ridiculous. And he's just stoned out of his mind on some donuts. But after that, you know, he kills the three chefs, or he attacks the three chefs because they have witnessed his face and they've seen him and they've seen his activities. And it's kind of one of those things where no one can live to tell my secret type of thing. But even Dogtooth admits that he was a little bit careless just leaving Luffy in that mound, that he didn't really follow up on that. And I kind of agree with him. Dogtooth, you are the billion bounty guy in Big Mom's crew. You are pretty much the foundation and the stabilization of the crew. You are the one person that's taking things seriously, and you just You just kind of left it up to fate to leave Luffy with a mound of sweets, a mound of mochi, a mound of sugar. That just seems so careless. I mean, Dogtooth's been thorough about everything else so far in this whole arc, but just leaving Luffy to a mound of mochi, he's just gonna die from that. He's survived worse, okay? He's survived being dehydrated by Crocodile. He has survived being attacked by some of the worst characters in just in One Piece altogether. He's fought Gecko Morian. He's fought Doflamingo. Doflamingo's beating the living crap out of him until Gear 4th came into play. What other things? What other things? There's a lot of them. And Rob Lucy beat Luffy within an inch of his life. You have to consider it on several different occasions, but it's just not a stretch of the imagination. I just felt like Dogtooth just slipped on that. But also, as we see Luffy engage with Dogtooth, he's clashing Haki with Haki, or supposedly Haki with Haki, and Luffy's hand actually hurts from colliding with Dogtooth's hand, and Dogtooth states there are some things stronger than Armament Haki, which leads us to the next question: what is stronger than Armament Haki? I mean, so far the only things I know in the One Piece universe is like we have Takai that hardens your muscles, we have pretty much Armament Haki, we have some characters just have really, really rock hard bodies all around, but what's harder than Armament Haki? Armament Haki's been pretty much hyped up to be this end-all, be-all, perfect weapon against Logia, Devil Fruit users, and, you know, it amplifies the force of your attack and the toughness of it and everything like that. It can pretty much allow you to catch blades, take bullets and cannons and other blows that would do grievous damage to you. But also, as we see him trading blows with Luffy, we see him actually get kicked in the face by Luffy, and Luffy notices that Dogtooth didn't dodge that. So, for some reason, maybe it was because his sacred ceremony was interrupted. Maybe for that reason, his observation Haki is just thrown out of whack. Maybe. And Luffy enters Gear 4th saying, "You're not invincible." And I'm just like, well, he never really was invincible in the first place. But, you know, if Dogtooth loses, he put himself in this scenario. That's my honest opinion. He put himself in this scenario. He didn't follow up with that attack on Luffy. And, yeah, he said, "I'm not sleeping on you. I'm not, I'm not underestimating you." But you kind of just left him to his own devices to have a snack. I mean, I don't care if I was fighting Usopp. I'm going to make sure that Usopp's dead before I have that snack. I'm going to make sure that I stab him with that trident 1,000 times and see his heartbeat stop before I go have my snack. Especially if I know, okay, well, this person has a bounty of this, this, and this, and this person has did things throughout the One Piece world such as this, this, and this. This dude beat Doflamingo. He beat Cracker. He escaped from Montyor's book world and all of that other stuff. He clashed with Big Mom as far as Haki is concerned. He's defeated Crocodile. He defeated Gecko Morian. He defeated Rob Lucy. What else? He's Monkey D. Dragon's son. So it's just like, well, why? Why would you take any chances? He's all of these things. He's all of these things, and you would take that chance for your sacred snack ritual. Maybe it's just one of those One Piece personality quirks where it makes absolutely no sense, but One Piece. So, I don't know. What did you guys think of the last two chapters? What did you guys think of Dogtooth in this chapter? Do you think that him not being able to fulfill that sacred snack ceremony or lunch ceremony interfered with his observation Haki? Do you think that Dogtooth is actually going to be able to beat Luffy? Or do you think that Luffy managed to capitalize on a very crucial weakness that allows him to beat Dogtooth in this context and in this situation? This is BM. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.